Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? Force here. I've got another game for you today. Hopefully, it's another epic one. Game I casted yesterday was incredibly epic, and I'm hoping for a repeat of that. I was told that this is as such. Today's matchup is between Roots Destiny and Rock's Kiss BratOk. So BratOk versus Destiny. We have a TVZ here on Metalopolis. Starting things out, first and foremost, Destiny going to be moving his Overlord Scout and heading into that near position, and that's obviously typically what you're going to be doing as a Zerg player. The idea is, of course, you want to get right to the cusp, the edge of the base there, and then cut it left. And look at that, actually pulling back the Overlord, and this is quite interesting. I want to make a note as to why he's probably doing this. Right at about this time, between 45 seconds and a minute into the in-game time, you're going to see players grab one of their units. Like, for example, you might see BratOk grab one of his SCVs and skirt along the edge specifically to check to that Overlord Scout. So what you see Destiny did there is predicting that that would happen. He's going to pull it back and then bring it back on over after that scout would have already taken place. So pretty interesting there. The only problem, of course, look at that. So there's that scout right there, BratOk moving out. That's pretty cool there that actually worked out. Now, it wouldn't have worked. You can see Destiny, were he in this position, BratOk still would have scouted it anyways, but the typical scout would have come before that. BratOk actually did it a little bit later than what's kind of standard. So that would have worked had he been over here and had he done a normal scout timing. But anyways, that's enough dwelling on that Overlord. Let's take a look at what's going on over here. BratOk starting things out pretty standard. We got that 12 barracks, 13 refinery. We can see that orbital command making its way on in as well. We do have that drone scout moving out right now for Destiny. Destiny looks like he's going to be going for an expansion, and there it is. In fact, I did see that little probe, or drone rather, on the mini-map, so that's why I just called that blindly. But yeah, going for that expansion of 15 supply as opposed to like that 14 the 14 spawning pool and 13 hatch or something along those lines. Can see First Marine making its way on out. Drone's going to scout as quickly as possible and wants to head on out of there unless he tries to go for a gas steal. That is, of course, another option that he has. We can see the orbital command making its way on through right now. And here goes the drone scout. Let's see if he decides to actually go for that gas steal or not. And I'm quite interested to see. Another interesting note, too, is the fact that Destiny hasn't gotten his gas yet. And there we go, actually going to be going to steal the gas. We can see that pool's coming up. Still no gas. So going to be working very mineral heavy for the early stages of the game. And there's that gas steal for Destiny, trying to deny that second refinery here for BratOk, trying to focus and funnel down the possible options he has for tech choices, basically. So yeah, coming up with that extractor, going to be interested to see if he cancels that and tries to redrop it, but just finally getting the extractor here at his main too. So you can see, obviously, not being able to afford that metabolic boost right away, but this is going to allow him to get those two queens right away. As soon as this pops up, should be seeing a second queen as well. We do see that Destiny did, in fact, let that go into completion there. And do we have that second queen coming right here? I would have to hope so. I'd have to imagine. There we go. Finally coming out with that second queen right now. We have two Zerglings on the way right now as well. Once he hits 100 Vespian, going to be seeing that metabolic boost go down. Taking a look over here, extractor finally gets dropped. We do have that factory, and in fact, going into a quick expansion. So BratOk going to be looking to expand soon. We can see he did scout the expansion here of Destiny, so he is well aware of what's going on. Three Marines rather going to be pushing out, and actually there's a fourth. Holy hell! So going to be pushing out with these 4 Marines. Should have no problem taking out those Zerglings. Zerglings going to want to micro away. Needs to be careful though, not paying enough attention, and Destiny does lose those Zerglings very unnecessarily. Now, he knows that there are at least 3 Marines making their way on over, so coming down with the Spine Crawler, getting a few more Zerglings as well. He's actually going to want more than those 2 because those Marines can go over here and start hitting that Queen there, and that would, of course, be quite dangerous. And even if he doesn't hit the Queen, okay, finally putting a Spine Crawler in this position, so he should be fairly well defended. But here we go, Marines moving forward, going to try to see what they can do for damage. We do have the metabolic boost on the way right here, also coming out with 2 racks back at home, so BratOk going to be switching, and he's probably going to be going with the Marine tank. I'm going to have to guess here. He's got that one factory. Starting things out, though, with Hellions going to be pushing forward, or at least trying to. He does see these 2 Spine Crawlers, though, and deciding, in fact, he doesn't want to move into that with those 2 Queens and 2 Spine Crawlers, realizing there's not a whole heck of a lot that he could do. Going to be pushing back home, and you can see that metabolic boost isn't even 50% of the way finished right now, so we should have no problem making it back home before those Speedlings actually get on the board. We can see that Evo Chamber coming out right now as well for Destiny. Might be a little concerned about the possibility of early Banshees. Obviously, taking a look here for BratOk, that's not going to be happening. A little concerned, though, that Destiny hasn't been moving out for a second scout. We'd like to see that happen sometime really soon because he doesn't know about this expansion yet, and that, of course, is a problem. Need to see him move out with some Zerglings. There we go. Zerglings finally making their way on out. A lot of times you will see that second scout before this. He's not going to be getting that till about the 7-minute in-game mark. That's actually, again, a little bit later than you would normally see. Now, with that Zelnag Tower, he's going to see the Zergling right here. Hellion's going to be moving down to roast that. Probably should be able to get it off without taking any damage whatsoever. And there we go. Nice micro there. However small and simple it may have been. Nice micro staying away from that Zergling. And here we go. Metabolic boost Zergling scout going to be moving on in. Getting shot down before he actually catches the expansion. But seeing that bunker is pretty telling. It's a pretty telling sign, if nothing else, so he should be fully aware of the fact that that Expo is in fact there. And knowing that, I would be interested to see if he tries to get an expansion. We can see BratOk here expecting an expansion when he spotted that second, bringing his Hellion over here to roast the drone once it does try to move over. So pretty smart play there by BratOk. Taking a look inside of his base, we can see here comes that Marine tank. Like I expected here, just going to be pumping out mass Marines, getting these tanks. Would like a tech lab sometime soon so we can get that stim pack research. Also work to get up that combat shield, but going to be pretty comfortable with the Marine tank for the early stages of the game. Very effective strategy, very effective unit composition in general against Zerg. It's going to be effective for the most part there. Heavy infestor play can be a little bit dangerous, especially since those Marines get dropped very quickly to infestors. And now, especially, my gosh, the stun duration has been halved, so they're going to be taking damage twice as fast. That's going to be really dangerous to deal with. Going to be interested to see how that plays out. Infestors definitely going to be very strong right now against those light units, especially again dealing damage to mineral lines and stuff like that, taking out Marines. All these things are going to be really good for them. We can see right now one tech lab and a reactor coming down. We'd like to see a reactor come down here as well. I'm going to be continuing up that tank production here as well. We do have that expansion starting to get saturated at this point in the game. Taking a look over here, Destiny doing a great job here spreading that creep, trying to get as much vision as he possibly can. Been massing up quite a few amount of Zerglings here. We do have the 1/1 upgrades coming out for him, the 1 melee attack as well as that 1 carapace. Layer just about finished right now, so going to be working up to that higher tech. And what do we have here? A Baneling's Nest as well, so going to be relying at this point on Speedling Baneling. Probably going to be seeing Mutas come into play as well, and that's the proper response to Marine tank. Speedling Baneling Muta. It becomes about unit controlling, being able to surround and swamp the units and move in with the Mutas, the Speedlings, and the Banelings at the same time, trying to catch tanks out of position. These are all things that Destiny is going to be looking to do this game. I am a little bit baffled, though, that he hasn't moved to expand yet. Look at all those Zerglings moving to just get the surround on that one Hellion. That Hellion, there was not a whole heck of a lot that he could have done about that. We do have that NG bait coming down, expecting that transition into Mutas. We do see right now coming out with some missile turrets. And again, very logical step by BratOk. That's obviously can be quite expected. Working on the 2/2 upgrades, and in fact, even getting Burrow right now. So not switching up to the Mutas yet, just going to be relying on Speedling Banelings at this point in the game. We can see right now moving out with that third base finally, and that's what he wants to do. We do also have BratOk going to be moving out with his third base as well, so falling a little bit behind the curve here. Destiny needs to start to work to try to out-expand his opponent, and I know this has been said a million times, but especially as Zerg, you really need to try to maintain that one extra base. You really need the larva and those extra resources for your units to properly deal with your opponent. Just going to be moving forward with solely Banelings. Quite baffled, honestly. He definitely needs to be careful. Doesn't want to walk into the siege line with just these Banelings. That could be quite a dangerous proposition. And actually, no, this is what's happening. He's going to be burrowing these. Okay, there we go. So that makes a lot more sense. We can see that burrow research just about finished, so these are going to get burrowed right here, and he'll be saving these for a later date, and that is going to be quite devastating, I would have to imagine. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to try to make sure I keep an eye on that for when the push eventually does come and Marines just get swallowed up by all those Banelings. Expansion just about finished right now for BratOk. Going to be changing that into an orbital command, lifting it on over and moving it out. Again, in anticipation of those Mutas getting some more turrets up. I'm surprised there isn't a turret back here. He does have that one right there, though, so that's probably why he hasn't not too concerned about that as of yet. I'm also looking to get some upgrades here for his siege tanks, getting that level 1 upgrade for those vehicle weapons. Also working at that level 2 right now for his infantry. Just continuing up that. Actually moving into Thor's right now. He is really expecting Mutas, and that's baffling because the Spire isn't even finished yet. But again, it's a logical step. It makes sense. Mutas are likely to be showing up at some point in this game right now, in this matchup. So going to be moving forward with his third right now. BratOk going to be working to secure this. You can see setting up those tanks, bringing up some Marines as well. And look at that. What a hell of a line right there. These guys, they've been following marching orders, that's for sure. A bunch of Speedlings moving forward right now. And not only checking the expansion, but going to be moving on into it. Needs to be careful, though, again, with that line and that siege tank. But there are a lot of Zerglings right now. What is this going to change into? That is changing into a planetary Fortress. Zerglings trying to move forward. All Marines stimming back, doing what they can, and actually, even though he's going to lose those tanks, those Marines should be quite fine to mop up those Zerglings. Going to force the Zerglings to push away. 2 turrets coming down over here as well. Baneling's still chilling out over here. He did manage to take out a few tanks, but didn't really touch those Marine numbers at all because we did see that nice stim pack by BratOk pulling all of his units back. And then obviously with stim pack they are faster, so they can out micro those Zerglings without much of an issue. A few more Banelings rolling down right now as well. Taking a look at upgrades, we have that hive coming in. Infestation pit, of course, is down at this point. You need that to even get the hive. And yeah, working on saturating that third. Would like to see him move into a fourth, considering again that he knows that BratOk is on this third. Planetary Fortress, probably a good decision. Doesn't want to spread his numbers too thin. He still wants to be able to have some defenses here for these expansions. And I probably expect a planetary over here as well once he eventually does move into a fourth. Going to be a burrowing those Banelings over here as well. Yes, he is in fact. So really going to be relying on that Baneling trap. And that, of course, is quite effective. This is something that I don't think is utilized often enough. Burrowed Banelings can absolutely devastate a Terran player, especially if he's not rolling around with a Raven, and I don't think BratOk has a Raven on the board. Let's take a look at that unit tab. No, we got 40 Marines, 3 tanks, 2 Thors, and 2 Medivacs, as opposed to 20 Banelings, 1 Overseer, and 65 Zerglings. So very Zergling heavy. Just now starting to come out with those mutas, but look at those absurd upgrades. An Ultralisk Cavern 15 minutes into the game. That is redonkulous. You do not see that typically this early, and again, Destiny's only on 3 bases. Usually you don't see that until the later stage of the game, but oh, look at that scan catching those Banelings. Wow, he really expected that. That is pretty unbelievable that he scanned for that. I don't know what gave him that intel. I don't know how he saw that or what predicted that, but he that was great. Good job on BratOk, because that could have been really, really bad basically. Marines and Banelings, Speedlings and Banelings moving around over here. We do have those few mutas. We can see right now BratOk sieging up and managing to take out that high yield expansion that Destiny was attempting to go for. So Destiny going to have to move to something like this, but no Marines denying that expo as well. This must be very frustrating now. BratOk's going to want to pick these guys up, but at the same time, he's going to be losing them to those mutas right there and lifting it up, trying to get away and actually not taking any shots yet. Finally, there we go, taking shots from those mutas. Obviously, these guys have been mobbed up, and BratOk's going to be looking to stay kind of condensed here in the middle. And what? I'm sorry, I don't have words for this. This doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense at all. He is going to lose this expansion. I am sorry, but there's really no way he can maintain this. He is so close to BratOk's base. BratOk's going to be expanding right here momentarily, and I have no idea what Destiny is really thinking, because he really cannot maintain that base. Maybe if nothing else, he's trying to use it as a distraction to pull away from this base, hoping that BratOk spots it, moves his forces down there to kill it, and allowing him to secure this base over here. Again, if nothing else, that's what I'm going to assume. We have a few mutas over here. Again, continuous upgrades. Those Ultralisks, I can't believe they're coming out this early in the game. That is pretty nuts there. Big push coming down. Needs to be wary of those Mutalisks. Don't want to get caught in that Marine fire, though, but they're just going to be moving around trying to pick off what they can, do a little bit of damage. Watch out, though. Thors and Marines going to take lots of damage right now. Mutas trying to move away as quickly as possible, running into that turret there as well. Finally going to try to pull away, but look at how fast those Stim Marines are catching up. Pretty much no problem running into another turret right now. These Mutas are not having a fun time whatsoever. They keep running into turrets. I think they finally found a possible spot, though. They can stay out of range of this turret and still do some damage. Marines continue to push up. Look at the giant army chasing the small amount of Mutalisks. That's the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. These few Marines doing tremendous damage, running through a missile turret there as well. That is not the best of decisions. We have 2 turrets making their way on down here. So unfortunately, Destiny did lose a lot without doing a ton of damage. He just did a little bit of harassment. We do have this expansion just about finished. The one up here that isn't going to work at all is is pretty much finished here as well, but no saturation going down. And a big push coming out right now from BratOk, moving down to the center. And look at this, countering on the other side. Lots of Speedlings and Banelings. And holy hell, again, these Ultralisks early in the game are cracking me up. We do have 4 more Ultralisks on the way. Just absolutely absurd that this is actually taking place right now. I don't expect to see this until at least 20 minutes plus, but already out on the board, Destiny just fast-teching to Ultras, pretty much. Over here, again, just a slight bit of saturation. Needs to be very careful, though. Big siege line over here. Moving forward with the Ultras first, trying to catch those tanks. Unsiege Banelings rolling out from behind. Also, tons of Speedlings moving down in this direction. Very dangerous. Needs to micro away those Marines as quickly as possible. Ultralisk mopping up these guys, and this is unbelievable. He just lost all of his Thors and all of his tanks. Marines continuing up to stim. They want to try to get away as quickly as possible. Zerglings trying to get us around and allowing the Banelings to move forward as well. Tanks need to siege up. This is a perfect opportunity from them. Zerglings so quick. There we go. Tanks sieging up. Ultras moving forward here as well, trying to catch up and do as much damage as possible. 2 tanks being dropped. We do still have a few Banelings as well as these Ultras. Destiny just on a warpath right now. plowing through everything that BratOk has, and Baneling's rolling forward into a lot of the Marines. Actually take out a ton of SCVs as well, and these Ultralisks, very dangerous situation right now. Now what BratOk can do is try to micro away and stay in these tight spaces where the Ultralisks can't actually reach them, and he might actually be okay just with these Marines. It just goes to show you why people cry about Marines being OP, just the amount of damage they can do with these Ultralisks. Obviously much more expensive, but Ultralisks chopping down those Marines, and Destiny going to continue along this warpath, even with these very low health Ultras plowing through his base and doing as much damage as possible, and down to just this one Ultra. This guy over here has got 10 kills. Look at how quickly chopping down these buildings. Absolutely absurd. Few Marines and a tank going to push forward, going to try to lure him into the tank fire by chasing down these guys, and I think it's going to happen right about now. It's starting to take that tank damage, and that's it for this Ultra. But wow. Just wow, that is really all I have to say. That was absurd. We saw Destiny just absolutely pummel his way through the forces of BratOk and taking out everything that he had, destroying some of the mineral line over here. That was quite effective, I would have to say. He lost a lot himself, actually. Let's take a look at that unit loss tab, but did take the slight advantage. He has the slight edge right now. He's going to continue this push. He's not giving up at all. Needs to be careful about that tank positioning. Doesn't want to walk into that. If I were Destiny right now, I'd really focus on just trying to hit those expansions. No need to go to the main base, and definitely no need to walk into tanks. Wants to pull back right now with those Ultralisks. If he can, I mean, he could probably take down this expansion pretty quickly with that number of Ultras, and then having the Zerglings move in as well to try to take out what SCVs he has repairing. So here we go, gonna be moving over here. Does have a Burrowed over here, gonna stop expanding, but look at this, a drop coming down over here for a BratOk. So trying to counteract here, gonna be taking out the Queen and then going straight for the spawning pool. Spawning pool is going to drop. This is forcing some of the units here of Destiny. No, Destiny's just gonna counterattack. He doesn't really care. Gonna move forward with these Zerglings. One Ultra here as well. Did lose that spawning pool though, so he's gonna want to have to redrop that as quickly as possible. We can see that's not coming up yet. There we go. Finally, that spawning pool is coming up. And I don't know why Destiny isn't actually going for this base now. I know it's a planetary fortress. I know it's going to attack. And look, it's another drop going down. But those Zerglings and Ultras going to mop that up pretty quickly. Even though it's a planetary fortress, though, if he plows in with the Ultras, and again, like I said, use the Zerglings to try to take out the SCVs, he could drop this base and effectively stop all mining from BratOk, and that's exactly what he wants to do. Apparently at this moment, though, he is just content with stopping any more expansions going down. But look at this. I completely missed it. I am very sorry about that, but BratOk did drop over here and snipe down this hatchery, and I think he's going to be moving on over to this hatchery here as well. So he needs to really be careful. Obviously, with those medevacs, Terran can be very mobile, but obviously at this point as well, BratOk has been on his back foot for quite some time, and Destiny asked for a pause, so I think they're going to be pausing. We won't see it though, and it's going to pick right back up. There we go. So quite interesting there. Another drop going down. Muta trying to do what it can to take out this medevac, but it's going to be pushed away by those Stim Marines, and this is not looking good. Destiny is just getting overly worked here. He's getting so harassed, and he's not responding properly. He needs to make sure he's careful. Going to micro away those Marines and try to take down that expansion. And look at this. He is, in fact, going to drop this Expo, and amazingly, BratOk off of one mining base with some continued harassment. It seems that he's managed to catch up. He actually didn't drop this, though, left with 24 HP. I'm not going to take much more, though. A couple shots from a Marauder, and that's going to be that. But really, Destiny needs to be careful. He needs to really make sure just these small medevacs with these small task force of units have done tremendous amounts of damage. And again, he just needs to be really careful. Try to get up his expansion. Walking into the siege line. No. That is very bad. Quite unfortunate. He walked a lot of his units there into that siege line. He's got a ton of Ultralisks on the board. They were, in fact, all rallied right into that siege line. This would be a perfect opportunity to attack, but I don't think Destiny knows it at this point. And I don't know, Destiny had a tremendous advantage for some time, and I think he may have let it slip right now. Looks like BratOk is making his way back into this game. Taking a look at the army tab right now, they are in fact even at this point. And just the fact that BratOk was off of one mining base for so long, he didn't have much going on over here. And then the fact that he was able to stay in this game and snipe down those hatcheries with just a few small drops is pretty much absurd, I would have to say. Sieging up right here, going to be taking out that expansion, no problem. Scans going down as well, trying to drop these creep tumors, deny some more vision, and this is not good at all for Destiny. Destiny's looking to be on his back foot, even though he's got all those Ultras sitting with some Mutas there as well. Those snipes to his Expos just killed him so much, and that's a real bummer because he, again, was in a tremendous position. BratOk going to be moving. Now he will have two mining bases going on pretty low over here. Probably going to be trying to move into here eventually as well, but Destiny's still trying to maintain this Expo on BratOk's half of the base, which, again, just absolutely kills me. It's pretty hilarious that he even went for this to begin with, let alone the fact that it's actually done any sort of mining. Trying to move down with these Mutalisks. Actually going to catch these SCVs before they finish, but Marines moving down here as well. Those are a lot of Mutals, so it doesn't really matter. Stimpack Marines quite threatening to Mutas. They just do tremendous amounts of damage, even with that splash there of the glaive from the Mutalisks. And a big task force moving down right now for BratOk, and I'm not sure if Destiny has any idea that this is coming. Looks like he does. Going to be moving forward with those Ultras. Wants to wait till the Mutas are in a better position so he can try and swap them around, but he's going to be losing this Expo. Destiny's having a tremendously difficult time trying to expand, but here comes the big surround. Ultras moving forward into those siege tanks. Mutas moving forward as well. What they want to do, of course, is snipe down those tanks as quickly as possible. Look how fast those tanks get dropped by those Ultras. Gonna be seeing some big micro coming down from BratOk, though, doing tremendous amounts of damage to the Ultralists here, as well as those Mutas, and actually just doing a great job here. They're dropping so many units, sneaking his way right into the corner here to try to get one last kill, but everything finally does get mopped up. Keeping an eye on that army tab, we can see Destiny at a distinct advantage right now in terms of army size. He needs to counterattack at this point, needs to do some damage, and again, the most important thing is trying to hit the economy. Unfortunately, though, BratOk bunkering himself in, he knows Ultralists are the primary force right here. You can see denying the actual surface area that he could hit with those Ultras. That's what he's trying to do here. But here's the big push into the main base right now. Mutas need to engage with the rest of the Ultras. Ultras are going to get dropped very quickly here. He needs to be careful. Mutas trying to move forward and do what they can. Ultras down to just the 4 right now, all at very low health. Mutas moving in as well and trying to take out those Marines, but the Marines absolutely shredding through the Muta numbers, and the forces here of Destiny getting dropped very, very quickly. Are seeing continued reinforcements here from BratOk, remaining now just with the Mutas, and going to continue up this harassment, try to do as much damage as he can. No drops going on right now for BratOk. I see nothing on his front. He's just trying to deal with this harassment right now. We can see remaining just a few Mutalisks, but going to do what they can. There aren't a lot of Marines on the board. We do have 8 more Marines in production, though, and that actually might be enough to push him back. We can see if these Marines rally up and get a nice stim down. They're going to be taking him out very quickly. He needs to make sure he's not misrallied, though. Just paying just enough attention here, and yes, there we go. Going to finally be pushing those Mutas back, but no, some more Zerglings moving forward here as well. But good job there by BratOk and lifting up that supply depot. Doesn't really matter, though. Okay, finally going to be pushing forward with these guys. BratOk just on his back foot, getting continuous streams of Zerglings here, continuing to reinforce and do what he can for damage. Marines pushing forward as well. Marauders in the front trying to take out and stop those Zerglings from attacking the Marines so that the Marines are free to fire on the Mutas. And there we go. BratOk has, in fact, been able to push this back. So somehow, some way, BratOk managing to defend his base. 1 stim Marine going to town here on these workers. Managed to take out the 2 and then mistargeted there. Zergling's going to move down, mop up that Marine very quickly, though. But BratOk did just lose a ton of forces. Let's take another look at that army tab. Both of them are relatively low, however. The thing really to note, though, is that BratOk has some really nice saturated base right here and fairly well defended as well. So this really needs to be the primary target here of Destiny. Now, the other thing to consider as well is if Destiny can take out these production buildings, that obviously puts him at a distinct advantage there as well. Very interested to see the transition that took place, though, starting off with that Speedling Baneling into small amounts of Mutas, and then he just pretty much went almost entirely Ultra Muta with a few Speedlings mixed in there as well. So quite interesting play there. Now, Ultras, of course, incredibly effective, but we've seen how quickly they can get dropped by Stim Marines and Marauders with some good micro. And the other thing, too, is that just the sheer size of Ultralists makes it difficult for them to wedge into certain areas, and obviously with Marines and Marauders, it's like a snake. They're very fluid, they're very slippery. They can wedge in between and out of areas like behind this Vespene geyser and sneaking themselves into corners, and that pretty much allows them to freely attack. And look at this, trying to drop over here, but BratOk getting denied. Speedlings, Banelings, Mutas, and Corruptors, and 1 Ultra there, moving on in to take that out. And BratOk going to be trying to secure the center position right now. Now, a little dangerous thing to consider is the fact that this is an orbital command. You may ask, why didn't he make it a planetary fortress? Well, he just lifted off his main orbital command. This is kind of a good opportunity here for Destiny. Just needs to be careful about engaging those siege tanks. Obviously, doesn't want to do that. Not a lot of ground forces right now. Actually moving up to a Greater Spire here as well. Looks like he's going to be moving forward anyways, though, with the Ultralisk first, trying to take up some of that tank fire and then rolling with everything else. Does he have enough Banelings? I'm not sure that he does. Pushing forward, Corruptors trying to take out that medevac here as well. Mopping up the units over there, but just too much. BratOk has way too much to defend this. So this is not the best position that he wants to engage. Going to be trying to move forward in the main base and see what he can do over there as well. We do have a few Marines mopping up everything that Destiny had left over here. Zerglings catching forward, moving forward here as well. Obviously not going to want to walk into this. Destiny doesn't look like he has the HUSPA or whatever it's called. doesn't really have the forces to be able to to be able to take out what BratOk has at this moment. Not looking to have the most at all. Taking a look again at that production, still coming in with that Greater Spire. We do have a bunch of Zerglings on the board right now, a few Mutalisks here as well, and a couple of Thors making their way now, but big push coming out right now from BratOk. BratOk deciding it is time to be the aggressor. He was doing quite well with dropping early in the game, but it has all but stopped for the past 10 or so minutes, but finally deciding it's time to push back out. Stim going down, going to be sniping this expansion. This is going to drop very quickly. Marines and Marauders stimmed up, drop expos so unbelievably fast, really hard to deal with. And look at this, going up to the high ground, trying to funnel in those units. That's actually very smart right there. It's going to help him to prevent that surround. But okay, I thought that one changeling was going to make it in, but no, in fact didn't. Lots of Speedlings, not a whole bunch of Banelings right now. Are we going to be seeing any? I don't think we are. I don't think we're going to be seeing any Broodlords at all. We don't have any right now. There's only 3 Corruptors on the board. Doesn't really want to engage here at this position. Moving forward with just the Banelings, actually, that's really dangerous. Those are going to be quite easily sniped. Trying to transfer over to this Expo. He's almost out of mining. Very bad position right now for Destiny. He's not looking to be in the best of position. Zergling's moving forward. He'll be trying to surround on those Marauders right there, but needs to pull back because, again, he can't really reach the guys that are up here on the ledge right there, and that's obviously very dangerous. So just kind of dancing around at this point. But BratOk does have this base saturated. We can see Destiny trying to get this this high yield up himself as well. BratOk just going to be sitting over here with his units. Nothing else really going on. Trying to see some remote mining right here, but here comes a big push, and this is not looking good at all. BratOk looks like he might take this game right here. He just has way too many forces. He needs to hit with those Banelings, but he doesn't really have enough. Very low on resources. He can't even afford much of anything at all right now. Destiny, this is looking very bad right now. Lots of forces here for BratOk. Tanks in here as well. Thor's going to be ripping through everything, just trying to push forward. This is not enough forces, though. Not enough Zerglings, not enough Banelings. Those Marines microing away, and that is not good. I think he just lost all of his forces down to 73 supply as opposed to that 177. Destiny gonna lose this high yield right now. Nothing he can do about it, and yeah, that is not good at all for Destiny. There is the GG. So great game between these two players. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, this was quite another epic game as well. And as always, guys, this has been Force from Force Strategy Gaming. If you enjoy the content, please do subscribe to the channel. And as always, keep watching and keep owning. Since the last big engagement that we saw, looks like we are going to be seeing some more Hellion harassment moving out, though. And actually, if he moves right here, he could do a lot of damage. We do just have this one cannon, and I think that is exactly where he's going. So Hellion's moving out right now for Preddy, and I think he's going to be doing a lot of damage right here. Just need to move into that line and try to get a few shots off. Is he going to be able to do that? Yes, he is. One shot moving down, going to try to move down, but needs to stay away from that cannon. Another shot going down, taking out a few of those. Moving up here, taking out all the workers up top as well. So great job there by Preddy, devastating the economy of this 3rd and 4th base for White Rock.